Man, we did it. We did it. We did it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Have You Seen That with T podcast, the weekend update, first episode. Here we are. I'm so excited. Finally doing this again. This is terrifying. It's just me. And of course, technical difficulties because I hear myself on YouTube, but I just closed that off. So, I mean, let's get right into it. So, what is the weekend update? What am I doing here? Why are you listening? Why are you watching? You're listening because you want to know what to watch this weekend, right? So every week during the week I get people asking me, should I watch this? Should I not watch this? And it's not just people I know, but people that I don't know, people on the internet, people reaching out via, direct message, things like that. And everybody wants to know, should they watch it, right? Apparently, my opinion means something to some people. Hopefully, those people are watching and listening. But you know what? I'll find out when the analytics hit. But that's what I love to do. I love to talk about movies. I love to watch movies. So I do watch quite a bit of movies during throughout the week, during the weekends. So I did get a chance to see a lot of movies this week because I was so excited for this. Right? I never do it. I never do this where I go see two movies in one night. Why? Because I'm old and I need my sleep. I'm super old and I'm just happy to be doing this. So, with that being said, I'm not going to waste any of your time. So, what should you go see this weekend? What did I go see already this weekend? I started off by going to see Good Boy, right? And I don't have graphics. I'm going to work on this. Once again, your boy is a little, I'm a little dated with the technology. But I was super excited to see Good Boy. Why? Because everybody else seemed to be excited to see Good Boy. People love their dogs. I'm not a dog person at all. And other people's excitement got me excited for Good Boy. I saw the trailer. It looked actually really creepy. And then I saw the runtime, right? So the runtime is what really sold me on watching Good Boy and watching another movie in the same night, because the runtime's only 1 hour and 13 minutes, right? So the synopsis for Good Boy, and it's directed by Ben Lundberg, however you say his name, Ben Leonberg, and it stars Indy the dog. And this dog is a superstar, right? If you see the movie, you'll know like this dog just has it. It emotes in such unique ways throughout the movie. But Indy is a superstar of a dog. And what's going on, Kenny? Thank you so much for popping in. Let's go, Ace. Man, the Ace Avenue. You're the reason why I'm doing this. I'll be totally honest. You're the one who keeps pushing me to create content and in such a good way. And I appreciate your friendship and I appreciate you pushing me to do this, to get out there, make content, have my voice get heard. And you said he's most excited for Good Boy this weekend because you saw the Smash Machine a week ago. I did not get a chance to see a Smash Machine or the Smash Machine, but I'll talk about that just a little bit later. But yeah, back to Good Boy. It stars Indy the dog, and the synopsis is a loyal dog moves to a rural family home with his owner, only to discover supernatural forces lurking in the shadow. As dark entities threaten his human companion, his brave pup must fight to protect the one he loves the most. And that sold me, right? This is a horror movie from the perspective of a dog. And one thing they nail, and this is a huge highlight of the movie, is they nail the dog perspective. This doesn't skimp out on it. There are words like there's very little dialogue because it's just a dog and his owner. For the most part, the only dialogue comes from phone calls coming into the owner. I did like that touch on the movie, but this movie wasn't without its flaws. It's an hour and 13 minutes, but at points it felt long. Why? Because I felt like this entire movie was just It could have been a short film. I feel like it was supposed to be a short film, or it might have started off as a short film. You can tell that this director really wanted to create something unique, but you could also tell that he didn't have the biggest budget in the world to create the creation he really wanted to create. And for all its merit, for all of the things that I enjoyed about it, as a whole, the movie felt a little flat, right? It fell a little flat. It didn't nail all of the execution, but at the same time, I applaud the attempt, right? This director really went out for it. He saw a vision, he had a vision. And what really sold the movie or really saved the movie in my eyes was after the credits roll, don't leave the theater because the director himself did a behind the scenes little, about 2 or 3 minutes of behind the scenes or how this film was made. And like they say, you don't want to see how the sausage is made, but seeing this process of him directing his dog, I thought this dog was a professionally trained dog, and it wasn't. Like the dog was his personal dog, the director's dog. He hired a few actors. There are very few people in the movie. It's just really this dog carrying the movie. And just that behind the scenes, scene yeah, it's really short. An hour and 13 minutes is short, but at the same time, it kind of hangs on a little too long. This felt like an episode of like Black Mirror, or it felt like it could have been an episode of television. And it kind of hung on too long. But that was behind the scenes vignette at the very end of the movie really helped me see the movie in a different light because then I saw, you know, it took them 3.5 years to create this movie where Kenny said you can't get your dog to do anything, but they showed them doing these creative things in order to get the dog to do simple things like look out a window or look the other way. There's scenes where you think the dog is scared, but they're doing things to make the dog just get his attention. And it's really cool that little behind the scene. I would watch a movie of them just actually working behind the scenes, creating this film other than watching the film because it actually looked like a lot of fun. And you could just tell that this person really cared about what they were doing. So, I always ask the question anytime I do a movie review is who is this movie for, right? Who's going to enjoy this movie? This movie is for, like, if you love tense, dread filled horror movies, I think this movie delivers in spades. Because I'll be totally honest, because of the lack of dialogue and because of the dog's point of view, it was very eerie. The movie, 90% of the movie is really dark. It's dank. They're in this, old haunted house and it just looks creepy. And it has this really creepy atmosphere because you don't know what's coming next. Now, once the scares come, that anticipation, that fear and tension kind of dissipate a little bit because that's where the lack of the budget comes in. But it doesn't look overly cheap. It just looks like it doesn't have enough money to do what it really wanted to do. But as a whole, I mean, I think if you're a fan of horror, you're going to love this. If you're a dog lover, you're going to love this. I am not a dog lover. I don't own a dog. I own a cat. I won't say I'm a cat lover either. My family loves this cat. My family loves our cat. That cat enjoys me enough. But if you're a dog lover, you're gonna love this movie. And of course, some of my coworkers during the week they were saying that they that they hope the dog got it. I didn't hope the dog, met his fate at the end. And I won't tell you whether it did or didn't, not to ruin the movie. But at the same time, like you'll leave the movie feeling fulfilled. You'll leave the movie talking about it a little bit later. But at the same time, I just felt like the budget restricted it just a little bit, and the script restricted a little bit as well, because they didn't really talk much, right? It really was from the perspective of the dog, and the dog had about 85% of the screen time, which could work, but I think in this case kind of hurt the movie overall. But would I recommend you go see this movie in the movie theater to support a independent filmmaker? Yes. Like to support independent filmmaking, yes, go support this movie. Make its budget back this first weekend times three. I'm pretty sure this budget was pretty low. I don't think that this had a high budget. It might have been maybe 10 people working on this movie in total. And getting it, of course, mass produced, getting it out to the masses and advertisement and stuff like that. That's probably where the majority of the budget came from. But if you want to support independent filmmaking, yes, please go support this film. But the movie reviewer or the movie goer that I am, if you're just a casual and you don't really care, then I think you could definitely wait for streaming to see this film, right? This for sure is a watch at home type of film. When it hits streaming, I feel like it's going to do a lot better. And it is a Shutter release, so I'm pretty sure it will be on Shutter, within a month or so. But definitely I always say go support those independent filmmakers because then they'll get a bit bigger budget the next time. You really want to support those indie filmmakers because this is something creative. This is something out of the box, some out of the ordinary. I've never seen it before, and I want to see this director continue to grow and do other things out of the box and give us different styles of movie. Give us a whole different genre of horror, you know? Welcome in Popping the Popcorn. Thank you so much for popping in. And Kenny, you got tickets to see it tomorrow. I hope you enjoy it, right? I hope you enjoy it. I think you enjoy it. You're a dog person, right? So I think you're gonna have a great time watching this movie. And just once again, I applaud the creativity, right? Once again, it took this director 3.5 years to create this movie. And that's wild to me. That sells me on the movie in itself. That shows me that there's a true passion for this to tell this story. And he did tell a pretty good story. And that dog was awesome. Like the dog was awesome. His dog had the temperament for horror. That's what I would say. The dog had the temperament for the film. It was a solid time at the theater. But I do feel like people are gonna have way better time, streaming it from the house. But speaking of a better time doing anything at a house, I also went and saw Bone Lake last night, right? I hadn't heard of this movie. I'll be told it and it was for the movie tubers in our Discord group. They started talking about Bone Lake and I kept hearing about it. Everybody kept mentioning Bone Lake and I was like, what is Bone Lake? Never watched the trailer. I watched the trailer about a week ago. And the me in me just was excited from the trailer. Why? Because it was beautiful young people in a beautiful home and people were getting killed. You got me, right? I'm a child of the late 70s, 80s, and I'm all about slasher films. And back in my day, the slasher films always had a little glimpse of the TNA in there. The young teenage me probably saw movies I shouldn't have saw back in the day. But man, I was really excited once I saw the trailer because they simply don't make these, psychological, sensual, sexual horror movies, kind of in the vein of like Slither and Basic Instinct and stuff like that. They stopped making those movies. I would say around the mid 2000s. They just stopped making those erotic thrillers. There you go. That was the word I was thinking of. Erotic thrillers that you used to watch on Cinemax late at night. And this was a Cinemax type of movie. If any movie was a Cinemax type of movie, Bone Lake was something that you would have seen, in 1998, starring Shannon Tweed and like whoever else was the flavor of the month when it came to those softcore type movies. And this movie came in hot, right? If you saw Bone Lake, it came in hot. It came in with some insanity right off the bat. But Bone Lake, it was directed by Mercedes Bryce Morgan. I've never heard of this person before. I think this is her first feature length movie. She's probably done some low budget stuff. She's done some TV stuff, and it's starring Marco Pagosi. There you go, Marco Pagosi, Maddie Hansen, Alex Rowe, and Andra Nietzsche, who I thought was a Nachita. Andra Nachita. I thought she was like the MVP of this movie. She played. I was about to give away part of the movie, and I don't want to spoil it, but I can't remember her character's name. I only remember her character's real name, if that makes any sense. But it's about a couple's vacation into a secluded estate that is upended when they're forced to share a mansion with a mysterious couple. The dream getaway spirals into a nightmarish maze of sex, lies, manipulation, triggering a battle for survival. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie starts off, and this is not a spoiler. I'm pretty sure it talks about it in the trailer, but it starts off with two couples double booking an Airbnb. If you like, this is becoming a new horror niche, I guess. If you double book an Airbnb, just leave. Right? If there's an Airbnb that's double booked and you get there and somebody else is there and both of y'all have the same code or y'all have the same whatever, you know what? You be the bigger person. You just get out of there because nothing good is gonna come from double booking an Airbnb. Nothing good at all. But this movie, I thought the highlight of this movie to me was just the sheer silliness of it all, right? It starts off, and there's this thing, I can't remember. There's a Hollywood term for it, where people are just too accepting and scared to say no. This movie, what was the name of the movie with James McAvoy that just came out? Man, Speak No Evil, right? Speak No Evil, where people are just scared to say no, and the antagonist just keeps getting them in these weird situations where instead of just saying, hey man, what are you doing? No, I'm not with that. These people act like they're just afraid of telling people no. The New Yorker in me refuses to not tell people no when I should tell them no. There were two couples. One couple just kept asking too many questions, and the other couple, who these people never met each other a day before in their lives, and they just start giving each other this, I mean, highly intimate information on each other. Like it was really weird, and it just built up into this insane climax, which I loved. I think the ending of the movie really saved it for me. And I love the silliness, the campiness of the movie. It definitely took a turn for camp towards the end. As far as the lowlights, I didn't have too many lowlights with this movie. I enjoyed it because I understood. I think the movie understood what it was trying to be. It didn't take itself too seriously, especially in the third act. Right, right. In the third act, it just went for it. Right, it just threw all of the rules out of the bill, out of the out of the rule book, and just we're just gonna go full insane, and I loved it. Right, I loved the first act, solid. Second act, what kind of it starts boiling, and that third act, it just boils over into just this crazy crescendo, lot of blood, lot of violence, lot of death, and I loved it. Right, so that's that. I think that's what rated this movie higher for me, how it ended than how it began. And man, Kenny, brother, I respect you and I like you as a human being, but if you did that to me, let alone a stranger, furniture moving, man, that, and I don't want to spoil a scene, but there's just this crazy scene that involves, the couples and secrets coming out, and one of the characters do something that's so egregious that a stranger should not do. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm not gonna repeat the text that's on the screen, but it's a crazy scene, and once again, it's just people who can't say no and just let people go past the boundaries that should be set for any human interaction, right? any human interaction, there have to be boundaries, right? And when somebody crosses those boundaries, you have to check them immediately. And that boundary wasn't checked, and it just compiled after that. And I think that's pretty much a summary of the whole movie. Just boundaries being, you know, let down, and people just pushing each, to that next level until we got to the crescendo where it was just pure insanity. And like I saw the ending coming. Like the ending was kind of telegraphed. These movies don't hide anything. I was hoping it was like a secret ending. I was hoping it was something different. It wasn't. It was fairly predictable, but at the same time, it was a good time. And, once again, who is this movie for? Right? Who would stand to enjoy this movie? If you love psychological horrors, if you love erotic thrillers, if you love thrillers in general, and you love horror and gore and blood being spilled, you're going to like this movie. It's a good time at the theater. I thought all of the actors did really well in this movie. I enjoyed every single one of them. They all played their part. The main, I don't know why this has become a thing where they have the male protagonist or the main male protagonist. They did the exact same thing as Speak No Evil, where he is just this walking vagina. Like this guy is like he is such a pushover and just, I mean, I get it. All men don't have to be alpha males, right? We don't, you don't have to be an alpha. You don't have to walk around and beat on your chest, but golly, man, like he it was embarrassing. I felt second and third hand embarrassment for this guy because he was soft. As they say, SAWFT, soft. Like man. And I don't know. I never understand in these movies. They always have these just gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous women just falling over in them, and they're just walking vaginas. Like I don't even know how to put it better than that. The guy was just man, it was embarrassing. I felt bad for him, and I was completely surprised he survived. Oh man, I just might have given away part of it. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna enjoy it. It doesn't matter. You're still gonna enjoy it. Um, but yeah, Bone Lake, man. Honestly, I put this in my top 10 of the year. Like it's that silly to me, and I had that much fun watching it. I watched it right after Good Boy, and Good Boy kind of ended on a dour note, kind of a sad note, melancholy probably is a better word. And this movie just had my adrenaline going because it was so crazy. Like it was so off the wall and all over the place. I had a great time watching it. So I would definitely recommend you see this in the theater if you have the time, right? If you have the time, because there are other movies in the theater this weekend. I didn't get a chance to go see Smash Machine. I'm probably gonna go see that on Sunday. I have some things I have to do tomorrow, but I'll probably go see that on Sunday, and I might drop a movie review for that Sunday evening or Monday morning, just to let everybody know how great it was because I've heard the Smash Machine is amazing. I heard The Rock is amazing. I heard like The Rock might be an award. Uh, this might be an award contending role for Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Imagine that. Boy, y'all internet folks, the way y'all been bagging on Dwayne Johnson for the last few years, saying he takes on the same roles, which he does, right? And I watched his interview with Wallow and Gilly on $1 million worth of game, and he talked about it like he knew. I'm not going to turn around. I'm not going to turn down $20 million roles for a role that you think that I'm playing the same guy. I don't care. $20 million is $20 million, and he was making more than $20 million to do Jumanji 2. So I understand it, right? I mean, he didn't do much to destroy his his manlyhood, his livelihood. He just made movies that were popcorn fare, and I love movies that are popcorn fare. Um, but I've heard great things, so I definitely want to see that. I didn't check that out because it's like 2.5 hours. Didn't really have that time. I got to see two movies in the time that it would have spent to see that one movie. So I got to do two movie reviews in the time that I might have had to see that one. But I definitely will get around to see it. Um, and I say that, but then I spent 2 hours and 15 minutes this afternoon watching The Lost Bus, which is on Apple TV or Apple Plus, which stars Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera. And I saw the preview for this movie a few months ago, and it looked interesting enough, right? It's a based on a true story. Um, Hold on one second. It's based on a true story about a bus driver in California during California's deadliest wildfire that ends up having to go to elementary school and save a group of kids and their teacher. And boy, I've always said I'm the overly emotional movie reviewer, and this one had your boy completely in tears at the end of it. And it wasn't for anything sad. It was just kind of like this triumphant thing because it's a true story. So we know that Matthew McConaughey's character Kevin, he survives. The kids survive, but like there was just this movie was directed by Paul Greengrass, who directed The Bourne Supremacy. He directed The Bourne Ultimatum. He also directed Captain Phillips. Great, amazing director. This movie was visually stunning. And it was visually terrifying because, you know, it puts you in this very claustrophobic state because it's daytime. It's about 1, 2 in the afternoon, and parts of California is just engulfed in flames, and you can't see anything because it looks like it's night because it's covered in smoke. You can't hardly breathe, and it was just very claustrophobic, and it was very fear inducing for someone who, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning once, and the apartment was on fire because the person down who lived down below me decided that, kind of like JoJo Dancer, kind of like Richard Pryor, that they had to get that crack that was underneath their bed with the light, look for it with the lighter, and they set their bed on fire. And that human made it out of that building. But it definitely rose up to my apartment, which is probably where my fear of heights come from because lived on the fifth floor, had to go down a fire escape, terrified to go down a fire escape. Um, Got saved by some firefighters, which is why I have the greatest and most utmost respect for firemen, because this one firefighter came and put me on one shoulder and put my grandmother on the other shoulder and ran us out of this burning building because of a crackhead who lived right below me and my grandmother with my mother and my sister. Anyways, back out of my, leaving my traumatic experiences on. That's why this movie kind of hit me because of that claustrophobic. You don't know where you're going because you can't see what's in front of you because of the wildfire around you. And Matthew McConaughey, God, oh God, this guy knows how to emote. He always looks ragged. He always looks tired in these movies. He looks like he's just 1 second away from just being over it all. And that's what his character was. And you had America Ferrera, who played this teacher, Mary Ludwig, who was the most annoying person on the planet. But her and Matthew McConaughey, they helped each other survive this awful ordeal to make it out of this fire and make it out of this wildfire. And at the end, it showed that they found the power and electric, like the electric company was at fault for this, and they had to pay in restitution $13.5 billion dollars to the families who lost their homes because over 13,500 people lost their homes, and I think 85 people were killed during these horrendous wildfires out in California. But this movie, it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. I felt like it was a little bit too long. There were some parts I felt like it could have been cut out because it really wanted to engross you in this world and put you in in one of those seats with those children who were just I mean, God bless those kids, those child actors, because they look terrifying. They look terrified. They all like, I mean, everybody's crying. You have to imagine 22 young souls. And as a parent, you know, um, the bus director or the director of the transportation or the school transportation, they had to go and talk to these 22 kids' parents and tell them that their bus is missing, right? It's a lost bus, like hence the title, no pun intended. Um, and just the look on those parents' faces, not understanding. And Matthew McConaughey's character was like this down on his luck guy. He was a slacker. He was a loser for all better. Like everything he did, just nothing worked out for him in life. And him taking on that assignment to go get those kids kind of was like happenstance, right? He was doing the wrong thing and he just so happened to be close enough to go get those kids. It's such a great story. Um, but man, I thought the one of the MVPs of this film was the bus director, right? She was just this hard ass on him. Like at the beginning of the movie, she just treated him like crap. And like once before once they found out how bad the fires were, you saw her humanity, right? She got to show her humanity, and you could see her concern for him, even though she gave him crap. Like she still cared about him as a human. And I really enjoyed her character. I really enjoyed that actress. Her name was Ashley Atkinson. And she was fantastic. Yul Vasquez played the fire department commissioner, and he was fantastic. I thought he was another standout in this movie because we got to see a lot of Matthew McConaughey in the bus. We got to see the bus director, her perspective, and then we got to see the fire, like the whole team coming together and trying to fight this fire that was just way out of control. Like this thing spanned, over 20 miles, 30 miles of just flames, which is insane if you think about it. Like Manhattan, the island of Manhattan is only about 6 miles in diameter. So think about three Manhattans on fire, probably more. So it was a heart wrenching movie getting to see those kids and the child actors. Like I don't know where I don't know where they pulled that desperation from, but you could see it in their faces, you know, and you could see it in everybody's face. I thought everybody did really well in this movie. It's on Apple TV, it's on Apple Plus, so you don't have to leave the home to see it. If you don't want to go to the theater this weekend, this is definitely a movie you can check out. Definitely worth it. I for sure cry like a baby. They were driving through all of these flames, and then the sun just popped out. Right, it's the middle of the day. It's not even 3 o'clock. At this point, and the sun pops out, and you just see that look of relief on Matthew McConaughey's face. You see the look of relief on these kids' face, and then them being reunited with their parents. It was just, it was a happy cry, as my son says. It was a happy cry. So definitely, if you have the time this weekend and you want to watch a good movie, it will pull on your heartstrings, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's The Lost Bus on Apple TV Plus, starring Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera. Other movies out this weekend, we got, man, I don't know how to say this, Animony, starring Daniel Day Lewis, the formerly retired Daniel Day Lewis. I have no idea what this movie is about. It looks like a very art house movie, not my cup of tea. If anybody's seen, man, how do you say that? An anatomy, anemone. Man, I'm not gonna cut any of this out when I edit this video. Um, but it does star Daniel Day Lewis. Everybody's saying he does a great job in this movie, but I have no idea what it's about. It looks like a very art house movie. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret of mine. I've never watched a single Daniel Day Lewis movie in my life. I've never, ever checked out. Thanks so much, Kenny, for dropping in. Definitely enjoy the rest of your weekend. I really appreciate you for popping in. But I've never seen a Daniel Day Lewis movie. Just not my cup of tea. Last of Mohicans. I do want to see There Will Be Blood. I've seen enough clips of that movie to let me know that it definitely is a movie that should be watched. I just haven't carved out the time to watch that yet. Other movies in the theater, I did talk about the Smash Machine earlier. I think if you're gonna see a movie this weekend, I think that might be the best movie to see this weekend if you're gonna go to the theater. I don't know if it's much of a date movie because it is about a very toxic relationship between two people, Mark Kerr and his wife or his ex-wife at the time. Like they're legendary stories of how toxic they were together. So I don't know if that's like a first date movie or a romantic date movie, but it is. I do hear that The Rock puts on a great performance, along with Emily Blunt. So definitely, if you do want to go see a movie, go check out the Smashing Machine. Go check out Good Boy if you want to support indie films, and of course, if you want to stay at the house, check out The Lost Bus. But there are also movies streaming this week if you have these services. So if you have Peacock, Honey Don't is finally streaming on Peacock. It's a very low budget movie starring, well, not low budget, starring Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza and Chris Evans. I heard mixed things about this movie. I did hear there was a lot of gratuitous nudity and Aubrey Plaza and Margaret Qualley together. That almost had me sold. I could not go see it when it first came out. I think I opted to see another movie that weekend, but it is streaming now, so you could check that out if you enjoy Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza being together. Together, if you watch it, never mind. Also on Max, Bring Her Back is finally streaming. I am actually terrified to watch this movie. I've heard that it is one of the most sadistic and terrifying movies of the year. So I will at some point check out Bring Her Back. But I'll be totally honest, I'm terrified. I'm really scared to watch this movie. Play Dirty, starring Lakeith Stanfield and Mark Wahlberg, is on Prime Video. I cannot remember the name of this movie to save my life. I am going to watch that tomorrow when I get a moment. I might throw up a quick review of that as well on the YouTube channel and my TikTok. I usually throw, kind of after movie reviews right up on TikTok. Very short form reviews, not full movie reviews, but I'll definitely do a review for that one. But that's pretty much it as far as movies go for the weekend. There are shows in full gear right now. Peacemaker episode 7 just dropped. I'm all caught up on Peacemaker. What an insane season. That's all I'll say about that. I'm all caught up on Gen V. I'm really loving what they're doing with Gen V. I'm sad that the boys is, going into their final season. I think there's so much more to explore in this universe. But this season of Gen V has been very exciting. A lot of world building, a lot of mystery surrounding what's going on at Godolphin University. So definitely two shows that are worth your time if you want to check out. Also dropping this weekend that I did not know until maybe an hour or two ago is the latest season of Monster. The Ed Gein story, or the Ed Gein story, the guy who kind of influenced Leatherface. That's on Netflix. I think that's 8 episodes starring Jax Teller, Charlie Hunnam. I think that's how you say that. Hunnam. Um, that's that's on Netflix right now. All 8 episodes. Really looking forward to seeing that. I probably won't do. I don't do series reviews too much. Also, which is crazy that I started doing this live stream again this week, is because Ghost of Yote just dropped on Tuesday, and this game is beautiful. Right after I get off this live stream, I am gonna jump back on and watch and play Ghost of Yote and watch how this beautiful world unfolds. If you've ever played Ghost of Tsushima, that is one of my favorite PlayStation games of all times, probably top 10 of all times. It's just so much fun uh, getting dropped into that world. And Ghost of Yote, no different. I started the game, threw that thing on, and immediately got dropped into this world and just this amazing story going on in Ghost of Yote. So there's a lot of content out there this weekend. Next weekend, a little bit of the same. But I'm going to wrap this up. I didn't want this to be too long. I was trying to keep it at an hour. I appreciate everybody who jumped in the chat. The podcast will drop tomorrow. I'm just going to do a little bit of editing on the audio to make sure it all sounds good, make sure it all flows well. But once again, I'm back. The podcast is back. The weekly update. Come here if you want to know what to watch. If you're running out of movie ideas, if you want to know what a movie is about, come on and jump into the live stream. We can have a conversation. We could talk about your favorite movies. I could talk about my favorite movies. We can list our favorite type of genre movies, our favorite actors and things like that. This thing is only going to grow from here. And once again, it is your boy T. I'm so happy I started up again. The hardest thing is starting these new things, but I'm going to end it here. Once again, this weekend, if you got the time, go check out the Smashing Machine. A review for that will probably be out Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday night. But I'll chop up the review of Good Boy. I'll chop up this review of The Lost Bus and Bone Lake. So definitely, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll catch y'all next Friday. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Pacific Time. Spoiler Kings. And thank y'all so much for popping in, man. I'll be totally honest. Most of the stuff I'm doing here is trying to emulate what you guys do, other than spoiling the movies, because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil the movies for anybody. But I wonder what movies were you guys looking forward to? Are you guys going to see? I don't know which spoiler king it is in the chat right now. But did you go see any movies this weekend? Did you get a chance to see Good Boy, Smash Machine, Bone Lake? I want to call it Boner Lake for some reason. Every time I think of Bone Lake, I just think of Boner Lake. If you saw the movie, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that movie, any movies this weekend, or Anonymous. Man, I know I'm mispronouncing that word, or mispronouncing the title of that movie. Anonymous, starring Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see any of those movies. But I didn't want it, man. I was in here hanging by myself, and now people are popping in, and I appreciate everybody, whoever's popping in. Um, but yeah, if you go back, if you watch the live stream in review, I did a review of Bone Lake. I did a review of Good Boy. I did a review of The Lost Bus, talking about which movies you should check out this weekend. And I'll be doing this every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I'm gonna end the live stream now because I've reviewed all of those movies already, and I don't want to regurgitate what I was talking about earlier. And hopefully we get everybody coming a little bit earlier so we can have more of a conversation. Unless there is something y'all want to talk about. Unless there's a movie you have questions on, whether you should go see. If not, once again, it is your boy T. And I'm going to end the broadcast now. And I really appreciate everybody for stopping by. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the Have You Seen That with T YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. Quick shameless plug. Wednesday nights, me and Frank, we do the Island of Relevancy Wrestling podcast where we talk about the week in wrestling, mostly WWE stuff because we're both WWE fans. So every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is the island of relevancy. Enough shameless plugs. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This thing is only going to get better. What I plan to do, what I would like to do is each week I want to review at least one movie. And if I don't get a chance to see a movie, I want to invite somebody on the channel who's seen that movie so they can give their review and we can talk about, different things and things of that nature. So it's just not me on here sweating and being nervous and talking, all on my lonesome. I get other people, get other guests on the YouTube channel, get other guests on the show, and we just talk about movies and we just talk about the movies of the weekend so people know what they got to look forward to. But once again, I think I've said enough, and I'll catch y'all next time.